Previously on Billy Corgan's Adventures in Carnyland.
There were a lot of years there where people were like, this is the dumbest thing you could do.
Oh!
Don't you understand? You have an elevator to the stars and you're playing with these carnies in a parking lot.
Oh!
It's either going to be a big success or it's going to be an absolute mistake.
I deal with reality on reality's terms. Unfortunately, I'll do whatever needs to be done.
Kyle's got some sort of contention between him and Chloe. People are gonna butt heads.
Carnyland itself is now descending in West Palm Beach, Florida, for the first leg of the Smashing Pumpkins Summer Tour.
Hey Ian, how are you? After a while, you just start getting into tour mode, and you can get onto a rhythm.
Where we'll be showcasing the NWA in between each of today's musical acts.
They didn't come to watch no Smashing Pumpkins, they came to watch us.
Our wrestlers aren't used to performing for crowds as large as the ones the Pumpkins draw, so the pressure's on. And so is the heat.
I've not worn a shirt for like 3 days.
So while the weather may be swampy,
It's already raining, no!
my goal for today is crystal clear.
I'm not a rain person, I melt.
To get the NWA before as big an audience as possible. The only question is, can they win over the Pumpkins fans? And who knows? Maybe I'll win over some of the wrestlers, for once.
Were you a fan of the Smashing Pumpkins?
No, not my kind of music.
I know like 3 songs. I don't do the melodramatic.
I was like more of a Eurodance fan. Awkward.
Okay, some of them are fans.
Disarm, easily my favorite song, and I also believe I had my first kiss to Today. And I believe it was Stephanie at the fair behind where they made the funnel cakes. But I've kissed a lot of girls, so I don't remember.
You know, I'm 16 years old, I'm with my girlfriend, and Tonight's playing on the radio, and that's when I lost my virginity right there to Billy Corgan.
The type of show we're putting together today is unlike anything most of the fans showing up tonight will have ever seen.
Nobody does this. You don't see this anywhere in the world, and it's this perfect marriage of rock and roll and wrestling.
And this is a marriage I'm more than happy to talk about.
The temptation is to put the two worlds together and hope that they amplify into something meaningful. What the NWA is very much voiced for a mainstream audience who doesn't watch wrestling anymore or doesn't care, but is surprised that they actually like it.
But for that to work, we need to be at the top of our game.
First man here, first one setting up everything.
Which is why the wrestlers are here early, to help with their side of today's load-in and setup.
Never thought I'd ever perform at a rock concert.
I was delusional enough to think so. I've been known to uke a few lately.
Unfortunately, the one man I put in charge of this plan doesn't seem to be on board with it.
You know what would be fantastic? Let's be a part of a rock concert. Let's be professional wrestling. We're gonna be right there in the thick of it, right? You know, we're gonna put you out in the parking lot on the blacktop in the middle of the hottest the world has ever been in recorded human history.
We have a saying in the NWA, which is KGK, Kyle's gonna Kyle. What does that mean? Kyle's gonna interject himself into every situation, whether you want him to or not.
Even more disappointing.
Oh, I shifted onto a hot part of the table.
Kyle has used the heat as an excuse to pull him and the wrestlers off of our setup.
The nipples look great.
Don't shoot the nipples, please.
Leaving the remaining crew to pick up the slack.
Right, fellas? What? You want me to be able to count?
I guess it's impossible for Kyle to understand the logistical nightmare ahead of us. Setting up a pumpkin show with wrestling as a high-quality side event requires nerves of steel and deep pockets. My deep pockets.
We're at work right now.
They can be real assholes sometimes.
But then again, if these professionals weren't so unruly, they wouldn't be great wrestlers.
Kenzie's like, do not get me wet.
Hip toss on to Kenzie.
Don't mess up my hair.
Take, for example, this guy.
My name's Thrillbilly Silas Mason. I'm the biggest man who ever lived.
Thrill Billy. Oh my God.
He's like 6'6" of ooh, yummy, honey.
No one's better looking than me. No one's more athletic than me.
He thinks he's the toughest guy walking the face of the earth.
How lucky are they to have me? Look at me.
Oh, y'all come on in. Didn't crash the car on the way over here this time, did you?
Being that the goal of this tour was to charm potential new audiences,
I'm surprised this double door can even fit me through it, man.
Thrillbilly was at the top of my list of wrestlers to bring on the road.
I've only shown Billy Corgan this much of what I have to offer, and he's still paying me a ton of money. So, like, hope his pockets are deep.
Part of his charm is his way with words.
I had to take every single mirror out of my house because I kept thinking like some handsome man had just broken in. I was like, who's that pretty son? Oh, wait a minute, it's me.
I'm a vampire, though. I can't see myself in mirrors.
Yeah, I heard the world was a vampire. What's the deal with that?
What idiot said that?
I don't know.
And there are so many words.
You know, most people worry about what's coming out of my mouth, and you don't want to know what's going in it. Me and AT are mainly the ones holding everything down, keeping this whole production, this whole ship afloat. You can't just be amongst it, you gotta get amongst it, dude. Talk about our feelings, riding high like we always do, upward and onward. Excelsior, it's numero uno. You know what I'm talking about, brother.
But with showtime rapidly approaching,
that's what I was saying, dude.
I hope he saves some of his chatter for the ring.
You know, they say 50 to 80% of the population has herpes. I'm clean, dude. Clean bill of health.
Oh, my God.
You know, they clean your rooms here complimentary.
In the Smashing Pumpkins green room backstage in West Palm Beach, Florida, I'm not the only one trying to escape the heat. Chloe, the kids, and other family and friends are all here too.
There's wrestlers, there's music, and there's all of us. Our businesses, our interests are immersive in our lives, so there's really no separation.
There's a lot of family here. This is my brother.
Thank you so much.
My children, my aunt.
I don't understand wrestling, but I support him.
This is my life. This is my life. Chris Nowinski, formerly Chris Harvard at WWE.
Nice to meet you.
Chris Nowinski is a former Division I football player who went into professional wrestling. He had to retire from serious repeated concussions. He started what is now known as the Concussion Legacy Foundation. So Chris has been an advisor to the NWA as how concussions impact player safety and, of course, their future.
So I ended up meeting Billy backstage at a show, and I remember walking past him and going, is that Billy Corgan? And he stopped and he was like, Chris. And I'm like, he knows who I am? And that sort of started this friendship that's built over the years.
The Nowinski family and our family are very close, and they're part of the extended Pumpkin family.
So his kids are here playing with my kids, and of course they'll all be at the wedding, which is more than I can say for some.
Kyle will be there. Where? At the wedding.
Don't want me there, I'll be there.
Kyle had been invited to the wedding, but when it came to the HP Cares for Cooper event, Chloe ended up shouldering a lot of the load where Kyle dropped the ball. So when the subject came up of who's coming to the wedding, Chloe said, it's my special day and I don't want any weird vibes. And so he was disinvited from the wedding.
He RSVP'd with my food choice.
I did, but I'm ready. Don't worry about it. It's not a big deal.
Kyle says it's no big deal. I hope I can believe him.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to The World is a Vampire Festival. Starting right at 6 o'clock, we're going to have matches right here featuring the wrestlers of the National Wrestling Alliance, owned by Smashing Pumpkins frontman Billy Corgan.
And with such a wide and varied audience, I'm making sure that we're putting our best foot forward and giving this crowd everything we've got. Starting with the current NWA television champion Tom Latimer, who's battling the small but mighty Rolando.
Ducks the clothesline, and there's those signature moves. Those spectacular hips are shaking.
So far, it looks like my plan is working.
We had all of these Pumpkins fans that were there, and they're just there to watch music, and all of a sudden, wrestling appears.
Devastating backbreaker!
And now we've got more followers on Facebook. We got more people subscribing on YouTube. We got more people that are tuning in. So it's about converting that audience.
The winner of this match,
And then there's the tag team matchup of newcomer Ruthie J and Titan Camille versus the Page sisters, who continue to impress.
The Page sisters, just a little naive, but so fun and just ready to take life wherever it's going to take them.
Always be thinking, always cheat. There was a spot where Ruthie was backed up in the corner and his back was turned, and your sister was doing a spot and you just stood there watching. She grabbed her hair.
Yeah. They just embrace ideas and they're not scared.
Thank you guys, that was great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, boss. Thank you.
But there's one spectator who is far from impressed. In fact, as far as Chloe is concerned,
Who here has been to a wrestling show before? All right.
Kyle continues to miss the mark.
This has by far been my favorite place to be. The weather, the people, the swimming pool, and let's face it, the action that's still to come right now.
So there I am in the Florida sun. I'm with Chloe. She's deigned it to come down from her mountain and actually watch professional wrestling for once. And who's in the ring in the Florida sun but Kyle Davis in shorts? And she turns to me and says, "What the hell is he wearing?" Chloe's complaint was Kyle is a representative of the company. You have thousands of people around the ring watching the NWA, and Kyle Davis doesn't look like an announcer. He looks like some guy who came up from out of the crowd and grabbed a microphone.
Don't want to deflect, but Joe has shorts on too. Did you say anything about that?
I feel like I could go rob a bank today, get caught on surveillance footage, and he'd be the one in handcuffs the next day. I do not know why.
Well, Kyle is going to Kyle. And Thrillbilly, he'll keep on using his words.
This is what men look like. That's what a real man looks like.
So many words. And as the sun goes down, the weather finally cools off and the wrestling begins to heat up.
It's kind of a little nerve-wracking right now because there are 15,000 people out there, which is pretty wild.
Tonight's main event is a six-man tag team match featuring members of some of our most popular teams. Thrillbilly Silas Mason, Kerry Morton, and Alex Taylor of the Southern Six versus Colby Carino and the Country Gentleman.
You might be the dumbest son of a bitch in all of West Palm, and that's saying a lot.
Look, I might not be the brightest bulb in the box, but at least I'm not dumb enough not to notice two big son of bitches about to kick your ass right behind you.
As the punches fly, the heavens open, and down comes the rain. But instead of running for cover, the audience remains ringside.
So we have to be able to try to reach out to these people. It's a grassroots way of doing it. And we can start pulling people from the Pumpkins universe into the NWA universe because it's essentially the same universe because it's all the Billy Corgan universe. I know Billy's gonna be there. You know what? Let's go have fun.
So in terms of what makes a good show, it's are we achieving the brand growth and the brand value and representation that I have in my mind?
Now next, the Smashing Pumpkins!
The NWA's job is done, but mine is only just beginning. With close to 15,000 people in the stands on our biggest show of the tour. Gee, I wonder if I still got it. The NWA wrestlers have warmed up the crowds in between sets on the Smashing Pumpkins World is a Vampire Tour in West Palm Beach, Florida.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the National Wrestling Alliance, I hope you have been entertained!
Coming up next, the Smashing Pumpkins!
My hope is that my era of the NWA can follow the same trajectory as the Pumpkins. Years of hard work from very humble beginnings that flower into globally enduring brands.
I lost the most I did. A message to my friends to get out.
I was not born when the Smashing Pumpkins were in their prime, but I wouldn't say they're out of their prime. I mean, hell, Billy's selling out stadiums all across the world.
I forget he is this rock god to so many people because we're in the back and we're talking about business and wrestling, and he's one of the boys. Then I go to a concert and I see him on stage just killing it. It reminds me of who I'm actually working for.
One of the great pleasures of my life is sharing the stage with those I love the most. So tonight, my 2 kids and my friend Chris's daughter, Kensington, are joining us on stage for the performance of our hit song, Beguiled.
That's just their song. Wherever it is on the set, they just go on for that song. And they love it. They love the audience, they love the dancing, and they just want to be out there with their dad the whole time, so it's their moment to do that.
Chris's youngest, Charlie, wasn't originally going to go on stage with his big sister, but
when Charlie saw all of the kids go on stage, he was like begging to go on, and I told his mom, I was like, I'll just take him. He just wouldn't face the audience. I just remember like flipping him and him turning around and then like crying. Charlie didn't really like it.
I just love seeing them on stage, and as much as I like looking out and looking at 15,000 people in West Palm, I certainly like watching that just as much, if not more.
It's great to have the kids out on tour. It makes me feel old seeing his kids, because I remember the first tour that I did with the band, Chloe was pregnant with Augustus, and now Augustus is like this big.
One song, 3 kids. Memories that last a lifetime.
I want that family atmosphere. It's a show. It should be fun. It should be dynamic. And I want the children to feel very much part of the show.
In just 1 week, the NWA will celebrate its 75th anniversary. And tonight's Pumpkin Show is the latest in a long line of performances stretching back 36 years. Combined, that's 111 years of history on everyone's shoulders. And we're all feeling the weight.
We become obsessed with the idea of history, legacy, and sustain. I would like to think that the Smashing Pumpkins will last forever, the NWA will last forever. Empirical evidence would suggest that's just not realistic. The real business is in this moment.
Vagabonds, your feast is love.
The band is better than ever. They really are. And I think what's so admirable is the longevity of the band. That's what really sets the band apart.
What we're seeing in the crowd is it's a lot of young kids, so that means that it's actually reaching people.
Sometimes you can only see kind of the first few rows, and you kind of forget that there's like 10,000 people behind those guys.
Our old crowds were like old people and their parents.
Now the Smashing Pumpkins are a band that connects.
Now it's young people and their parents.
Many people said this rock meets wrestling show wouldn't work. But if you understand anything about Pumpkinworld, you're already halfway to Carnyland.
Brian Idle saw the brilliance of combining the Pumpkins on tour with the NWA. He said, you're the only person on the planet that can pull this off.
You have to get the word out to people. It's a no-brainer that that should be the forefront of the NWA. Of course it should be a part of it.
So what does that say for branding? that I have a special skill set in the world that allows me to take wrestling into places that even Vince McMahon couldn't take them.
The West Palm Beach date of our summer tour is over. And I'm feeling drained and overwhelmed. But I've still got to meet some folks in the green room, as well as travel to Tampa later tonight.
What feels good to us is to be musicians and to enjoy what we do and to see other people enjoying it. To be rewarded for the fruits of your labors.
Well, you gotta do this to me.
My version of rock and roll is you want to reach the most amount of people that you can without compromise.
Picture.
To build something you're proud of and share it and then bring everybody into the tent and enjoy that.
Is Jimmy on the bus?
Yes.
All right, let's roll.
I don't want to, but for now I have to say goodbye to my family before packing up and overnighting on the bus to Tampa with the band.
Put it this way. I probably sleep a lot less than most people, yes.
That's too hot to trot, baby. Too cold to hold, Daddy.
After a very long day in the heat, we face a midnight drive to Tampa, where in some 9 hours, we'll do it all over again.
And the ring truck is stuck. This day keeps on getting better and better.
Can somebody get my buddy Kyle an umbrella?
This is great.